February 2025, America is slashing foreign aid. But that's not the shocking part. The real storm? Accusations that USAID, America's global aid agency, wasn't just handing out development money, it was allegedly reshaping governments. In August 2024, Bangladesh's longest serving Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, was forced to resign after months of violent protests. And now, India is watching closely. Because if this wasn't just a political uprising, but something more, could India have been next? We're peeling back the layers, following the money, the influence, and the consequences. No conspiracy, just hard facts, so stay with me. USAID is supposed to be about helping health, education, democracy. It has poured billions into South Asia, including Bangladesh and India. But sometimes well intended funding can have unintended consequences, and sometimes it's used as a tool for influence. In 2024, Bangladesh saw one of the worst political crises. What started as protests over job quotas suddenly turned violent. Hundreds died, and within weeks, a government that had been in power for 15 years collapsed.
Stunning developments out of Bangladesh today. The military says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has resigned and fled the country.
Was this purely domestic unrest, or was something bigger at play? Picture this: June 2024 in Bangladesh. Students flood the streets, angry over a job quota system that reserves spots for descendants of 1971 war heroes. It's a fairness fight until it's not. By July, things turn grim. Over 200 people are dead, thousands injured as security forces crack down. The protests swell beyond quotas, targeting Sheikh Hasina, who'd run the show for 15 years. Then comes the breaking point, August 5th. Sheikh Hasina, in power for 15 years, resigns and flees to India. Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus steps in as chief advisor of the interim government of Bangladesh. Within just 2 months, the political landscape of Bangladesh is rewritten. But the aftermath is even more troubling. Anti-minority violence spikes, Hindu families are attacked, and temples are vandalized. Over 50 Hindu temples were targeted, and India's trade with Bangladesh dropped by 18%. Post-resignation, attacks on minority communities, including over 2010 incidents targeting Hindu properties, highlighted a sectarian fallout. It's not just a local crisis anymore, it's a regional shockwave. And here's where the whispers start. Was this just a people's uprising, or did foreign hands like America's aid machine help tip the scales? Bangladesh wasn't just any country in crisis. It was a key economic and political ally, both for India and the United States. It maintained stable trade, a secure border, and played a crucial role in regional security cooperation with India. So why did its government collapse so suddenly? Follow the money and patterns begin to emerge. In 2024, USAID funding to Bangladesh surged, particularly in governance and election-related projects. Between 2021 and 2024, the US allocated $1.89 billion to Bangladesh, making it the largest recipient of American aid in South Asia after Afghanistan. That's a significant investment for a country of 170 million people. But a closer look reveals a distinct trend. An increasing share of that funding was directed towards democracy programs. In 2023 alone, USAID spent nearly $3 billion worldwide on election training and civic engagement initiatives. A portion of that, just under $1 million, was funneled into a group linked to election-related activities in Bangladesh. That's where the story takes a murky turn. Some argue that this funding helped fuel the unrest that led to ousting of Sheikh Hasina, a leader known for her pro-India stance. A former US official even suggested that this was part of a deliberate geopolitical strategy, reshaping Bangladesh's political alignment away from India, as reported by the Times of India in early 2025. The timeline fits. Funding flows in, protests ignite, and soon after, chaos follows. But if you dig deeper, the picture becomes less clear. Aid can train election workers, sure, but toppling a government, that's a stretch. As one expert had put, Local factors played a major role. Students, not policymakers in Washington, were the ones in the street. Still, the question lingers, could external aid have acted as fuel on an already burning fire? Now swing the lens to India. The US has pumped billions here too, over $2 billion to private groups in the last decade, said USAID own tally. Back in early 2000s, under Congress-led governments, India's central authorities pocketed over $200 million in direct aid. Health, infrastructure, you name it. But when Narendra Modi's government took over in 2014, that tap shut off, down to a trickle, less than $2 million by 2015. Instead, the money shifted big time to non-government outfits, peaking at $228 million in 2022, right before the 2024 elections. That shift got people talking. Some see a pattern. Big aid bumps lining up with protests or political pivots, like the farmer marches or citizenship debates. Others note the timing. $141 million in 2024, mostly health focused per USAID's book. But India's government didn't sit still. Laws like the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act clamped down hard, axing licenses for groups like Oxfam by 2021. Now compare that to Bangladesh. Hasina didn't tighten the reins early and her system cracked. India's too vast, too layered for aid to flip it. Chaos needs more than money. The 2024 elections proved it. 900 million voters, 240 seats to Modi's party. No coup, no collapse. Just democracy chugging along. But the what if sticks. Could India have stumbled if those defenses weren't there? So what holds up? In Bangladesh, nearly $1 million flowed to democracy projects. Fact, from USAID's own record. Did it spark the coup? No hard proof. Those protests had home-grain rage, says the BBC's August coverage. India saw $228 million in 2022, real track data, but no uprising followed. Elections ran smoothly. Bangladesh faced over 50 Hindu-targeted attacks post the coup. UN numbers confirm India stayed steady. The diaspora is feeling this. Millions of Bengalis and Indians abroad are glued to the fallout, sharing stories of faith and fear. Online there's a noise. Was this a foreign plot? Did India dodge a bullet? The number leans simpler. Bangladesh's smaller scale and looser grip let it snap. India's billion-plus population and tight controls held firm. Then comes 2025, Trump's aid cuts yank $29 million from Bangladesh. Coincidence or course correction? Either way, the stakes are real. India's borders isn't sleeping easy. So did USAID's money fund democracy or a political shakeup? The data says aid, but the timing and patterns raise bigger questions. India experienced similar funding patterns, but with stronger safeguards in place. Bangladesh, lacking those protections, saw its leadership collapse. Two neighboring nations, two different outcomes. One remained stable while the other unraveled. But could India have faced the same fate if circumstances had been different? That's for you to decide. See you in the comments. Let's keep this going.